Hello everyone and welcome to this week's review, and I decided to do something a little different. Scoob was supposed to be released in theaters this week, but will instead be available on video on demand. So I thought it would be interesting to take a look at a live-action direct-to-video movie inspired by the Scooby-Doo franchise that seemed to go by largely unnoticed. For this film, the focus is given to characters other than Scooby and Shaggy. Instead, we center on Daphne and Velma. Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Fred don't show up in this movie. They're not even alluded to, although we do get nods to the cartoons. The idea of giving the spotlight to Daphne and Velma is actually not a bad idea, especially since Daphne was never the most developed and fleshed out character. Unfortunately, I found myself extremely underwhelmed with the movie. For starters, the mystery is not all that fun or interesting. The movie is about Daphne and Velma attending this high-tech school where everyone is obsessed with acquiring the highest number of points on this scoreboard that measures their grades, achievements, and even social media. Somehow, nobody finds this the least bit creepy and a bit of an invasion of privacy. When students start getting zombified, the film throws a few red herrings our way, but the culprit is fairly obvious as they blatantly foreshadow them. Regarding the characterizations of Daphne and Velma, while the actresses playing them are solid, I thought where the characters were taken was unusual. Daphne is not given too much of a personality beyond friendly, and the whole subplot with her father making sure life goes perfect was an odd one. I understand they wanted to portray the effect helicopter parents can have on a child, but the execution was a little off to me. As for Velma, they have her be a jerk to Daphne for the first third of the movie. It's revealed why she does this, but it's a largely unneeded attempt at drama. Most disappointing about Daphne and Velma is I just did not find it all that funny. I got a few mild chuckles here and there, but for the most part I was largely silent while watching the movie. I hate that I'm knocking the movie so much, because you can tell the people who made it have a lot of admiration for the Scooby-Doo franchise, and they felt it was time that Daphne and Velma got their chance to shine, independent of the other meddling kids and their dog. The references are there, but the filmmakers were confident enough to not rely too much on them. Velma does not even say jinkies as much as you might think, and I applaud them for the restraint. Some incredibly talented people had a hand in making Daphne and Velma. The credited screenwriters, Caitlin Mears and Kyle Mack, have written scripts for television series like Dawn the Croods, Harvey Girls Forever, and Ash vs. Evil Dead. And the film's director, Susie Unessi, was recently hired to serve as part of the creative leadership at Walt Disney Animation, and is currently developing an animated movie for the studio. I'm really excited to see what she creates for that legendary animation unit in the near future. Something you may be surprised to learn is that one of the producers of Daphne and Velma is Ashley Tisdale, who does the voice of Candace on Phineas and Ferb. Interesting enough, Dan Povenmire, the co-creator of Phineas and Ferb, is an executive producer on Scoob. Coincidence? Probably. If I did not care for Daphne and Velma, I acknowledge it has a lot more to do with my personal taste. I certainly see what the filmmakers were going for with the themes on school pressure and the presence of newfound technology in young people's lives. At 75 minutes, the movie also moves at a decent pace. And while I'm not familiar with Sarah Gilman, she's clearly having fun in the role. I think it's neat that Linda Cardellini, Haley Kiyoko, and Gilman, who have all portrayed Velma in live-action productions, have brought their own spin to the character, while still retaining her smarts and motivation to getting to the bottom of things. I do wish I liked this movie, but maybe it just was not my cup of tea. If you have seen Daphne and Velma, let me know in the comments what you think of it. Thank you for watching this week's review, and I'll see you next time.